Onic Philippines and how to defend, stagger the waves, take out the Lord with the damage, and with these staggered waves, BTK would just have to accept the fact that the worth that they got out of the second Lord is not as much as the first one. So it neutralizes the state of the game for FNAP, but also the premonition of Kirk landing a penalty zone before the third Jeet Kune Do hit, so Shark couldn't follow up with his kick.
Look at Zia's gold right now, a full 1,000 ahead of Kelra. Finally maxed out on items. He has the ability to start juggling. Mobazane, blade armor locked in. Fried Chicken, blade armor locked in. Some answers to what Kelra might try to bring. Winter crowns as well on Kirk. You mentioned that earlier because it is something he's going to need to make that big penalty zone happen.
Yeah. And I like Hun switching it up, now stealing the final slash instead of the penalty zone. They tried to go for a full dive. It worked in their favor. They got the objective earlier on, but you can't keep doing it as the game goes late, right? You are going to end up sacrificing yourself. So now it's all about isolation. Can we get a pick onto Kirk? Can we get a pick onto Brusco, who is constantly looking for a final slash that could equalize the state of the game?
All right, so BTK, once again, just playing the slow game, right?
Yeah.
Freezing lanes, not forcing it. But at this point, do we want to see them force it more, right? The last Lord, that's 2 Lords now, down the drain. And in another, another 4 or 5 minutes, Gold's going to get to that peak, and Fnatic Onic won't be at a deficit anymore, right? It won't matter anymore. And they'll be able to really force and take these fights along with BTK. The big advantage that BTK has had in this last Lord is having the gold advantage, having a few extra items.
I think it comes down to Shock, right? Yeah, this conceal play is what I'm waiting for.
Shark looking for the kick, does get found out. Gonna be able to land on a Kirk, bring him back to the base. Zia. Oh, wait, big final slash. Out comes the Winter Crown. Zia in a little bit of trouble. Brusco. Wait, they're focusing on to Zia. Mobazane finds Brusco, and Zia sidesteps, backs up, and still gets the kill. 2 for nothing. BTK.
That is perfect. We need a Shock to make a concealed play. He's the only one who has the capability, and BTK followed up with it. Again, you can take this Lord, but you gotta contend with macro, which Fnatic on the Philippines, they're already setting up for it. They understood that there's no Lord in sight, so King Kong is gonna deal with the top wave. Lord number 3 for the Bloodthirsty Kings, and this one has to start cracking inhibitors.
Yeah, this one has to maybe even finish it at this point, because it's going to be, what, another 2 or so minutes, longer than that for the next Lord. By that time, by the time the next Lord comes up, Fnatic Onic Philippines will be at a point where we're ready for the 5v5. We're ready to throw hands with you. We're ready to throw fisticuffs.
Okay, just talk about how fast Zia switched from Winds of Nature to Rose Gold Meter.
Well, getting a penalty zone to the face.
Yeah.
Well, getting a final slash to the face.
Exactly, and now he bought the Winds of Nature back once more. We'll have it ready for the next fight. King Kong will try to cut the top wave, but thankfully BTK are also on the case. So King Kong not able to fully clear it out. They're looking for him. Can still play.
Is this the right play? They do get the kill! Zia found you creeping. Now BTK 5v4, but right now there's only 3 of them at the enemy's base. A big final slash, Hoon brought in, Fried Chicken in trouble as well. They gotta be careful. Kelra gets the kill, stops him, puts out the stiff arm and knocks him down.
At least that's one inhibitor. I say for Fnatic Onic Philippines, King Kong sacrifice was sort of worth it, right? No Zia to siege with BTK means that they can only deal minimal structural damage, and that was with the help of the 3rd Lord of the game. So FNOP again, back to a neutral state. But BTK have a solid control over the state of the macro right now, thanks to that fallen inhibitor.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to help a lot for sure. At this point, Shark's been setting up well in terms of, in just the general sense of the map. Where BTK are folding is when they get into this bottleneck, right? When they try to get into that base and have to go through those lanes. You got Kelra sitting there with a sniper. You got Kelra sitting there with a grenade launcher. You got Kelra sitting there just ready to stop you. And you proc that as well with the duality, the passive from Super Friends. It is a hard wall to crack through.
And with how BTK has been playing, we're not seeing as much off-tempo play from this Loi because FNAP, they don't really have the control that they were looking for. And BTK made adjustments. They understood that every single time we get an objective, this King Kong Suyo shows up in the side lanes to stagger our waves. We might as well take him out. At least we get an inhibitor off of that. But this is where it gets into murky territories, right? Both teams hitting that critical mass. Lord up in 40 seconds. It's all about item swaps for BTK. Fnatic on the Philippines also peeking out in their core items.
At this point, Does this game just end with a full team wipe, right? With at least a 3-man wipe, is that the only option at this point? Not just taking 1, not just taking 2, but a minimum of 3 to where you can just force your way in.
It could be the only way, honestly. I think if you're BTK, if you're Shark, you are always looking for that moment. Same as Brusco, but we've seen how BTK respond to being dove by a final slash into a penalty zone. They have had protocols set up to deal with that. And Shark, he is just taking up so much space. And Fnatic Onic Philippines are respecting the show.
Yeah, they're definitely respecting it. Nobody's forcing it. The diversion too, man. He hasn't been able to get a single good diversion off Super Friends because every time he goes to a bush, BTK's ready. They're like, yeah, we knew you were going to go here. Yeah, we're ready for this.
Yeah.
But Fnatic Onic looking for an angle around the backside. Fried Chicken knows it's there. Final slash on a Fried Chicken. Fried Chicken's a tanky boy, though. He's a thick boy. Kirk doesn't seem like it. Brought down to about half health. A lot of damage. Free shots coming from Zia. That's Fried Chicken. Zones him away and takes Brusco for a ride. Back to the homies. Zia finds another kill.
When was the last time you've seen North America kind of putting up such a fight? We've seen glimpses of that in previous championships, but you're up against a super family that everyone touted as perfection, the embodiment of perfection, but BTK takes the 4th lore of the game, and so far in terms of objective, I gotta say, Trex, all 4 lores have gone to the N-Ace powerhouse.
Yeah, and look, I mean, once again, Suyo at the top side, pushing up on. I think BTK is doing this right. It's like, listen, fine, do that. We got a Lord coming down mid. You're going to have to come back to base. You got 15 seconds on the clock for Brusco and 10 for Kirk.
Without Brusco and Kirk, there's no way Fnatic Onic Philippines can get any engaged off, but BTK, is this the end angle? They're going to attempt for it.
Oh, Hoon with the penalty zone. They just got to lock the base. Can they do it? Shark able to get it. Zia goes down. A few more hits. BTK, top.